of my lifetime, and I will have been muted. What I was going to say was that I was muted and Will is not, but that he would soon be unmuted to share his beautiful voice in co-leading the service tonight, which I'm so excited about. I want to tell you that tonight is after sundown will be Rosh Chodesh Av. It is new moon, a new beginning. Every month when we begin, it's a new beginning, a kind of time to wipe the slate clean and start anew. And this month, although it's Av and has the saddest day of the Jewish calendar, is also the month of the Festival of Love, Tu B'Av. So we kind of prepare ourselves for a journey through all kinds of moments. And will begin with Hine Matov. It is so good to be together as brothers and sisters, as one.
Join in. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחיות גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחיות גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחיות גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת כולנו 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 יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחיות גם יחד. יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 די.
So tonight we're going to talk about journeys. And we're going to talk about journeys that take us to beautiful oases and to barren, haunted deserts. We're going to talk about the high moments and the low moments and how it's impossible to have a life journey that doesn't include all of those. So may we be guided in blessing and in goodness through all of the moments of our journeys as we celebrate Shabbat together. Going to invite Bill and I assume also Raina to light and bless the Shabbos candles. And we honor Bill on the eve of his birthday tomorrow. And also want to mention that it's also tomorrow is Susan Birch's birthday as well. So Yom Huledet Sameach, happy birthday to all the birthday people.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlikneh shel Shabbat. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
We sing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, V'melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, V'melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, V'melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedhem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, V'melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So, in a minute or two, we're going to sing a line from the Psalms that are part of Kabbalat Shabbat, part of the welcoming of Shabbat. And this line says, Or zarua latzadik, light is hidden for the righteous, u'leyishrei lev simcha, and for those who are upright of heart, joy. And as we think about paths, we know that the way ahead is often hidden for us. And what we can hope is that as we walk sometimes into darkness, we will be able to uncover light. Or zarua latzadik, light is sown or hidden away for the righteous. And that is on page 31.
And we sing this melody written by Mike and Bonnie Levine. This is call and response. Or zarua latzadik,
latzadik,
u'nishre lev simcha,
u'nishre lev simcha.
Or zarua latzadik,
latzadik,
u'yishre lev simcha,
u'yishre lev simcha.
Or zarua latzadik,
latzadik,
u'yishre lev simcha,
u'yishre lev simcha,
u'yishre lev simcha,
u'yishre lev simcha,
u'yishre lev simcha. We find Esaenai on page 214. Esaenai el heharim me'ayin me'ayin yavo ezri. Esaenai el heharim me'ayin me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim ba'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim ba'aretz. Esaenai el heharim me'ayin me'ayin יבוא עזרי, אשא עיני אל ההרים מאין מאין יבוא עזרי, עזרי מעם אדוני עושה שמיים וארץ, עזרי מעם אדוני עושה שמיים וארץ. And we welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on page 41. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orek kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin u'shmol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taritzi, al yad ish ben parzi, v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise in body or spirit. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, kam besimcha u'vetzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Because of the welcome that we've extended through our words and our song. And now, in honor of Shabbat, we sing the first line of the Psalm for the Shabbos day, for the Sabbath day, on page 49, which begins with the words, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, it's good to give thanks to God. And having this moment to sort of pause from the work and the worries of the week, we have an opportunity to connect to the wonders, big or small, of the week, to that which demands not to be forgotten or not to be taken for granted. So I invite you, if you wish, to drop into the chat something from your week for which you feel grateful. And when we come to the end of the singing of this first line of Psalm 92, we'll share some of those. It's good to give thanks. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Lehagid baboker chastecha. Lehagid baboker chastecha. Ve'emunatecha b'leilot. Ve'emunatecha b'leilot. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It is good to give thanks for reunions, for having friends join me for dinner on my birthday. I think, Aaron, that we've got another birthday person. Happy birthday to Aaron. For Ron Grapevine of blessed memory. For our first chorus rehearsal in person at CBH. Woohoo! For the fact that no one in my family died from corona. For friends. For a back that feels way better. And a fabulous dog and good ideas. For throwing a surprise birthday party for spouse. Sounds like another birthday person. For the love of family, and for girlfriend Elisa and her family, I'm guessing. For Steve's back feeling better. Okay, good backs are going around. For wonderful family, especially for parents in their 90s, 3 of them. For good health and enjoying being in nature. For freshly grown basil, blueberries, and tomatoes from our garden. Woohoo! Fertile place, that Atlanta. For health, family, friends, CBH, a new great niece, and work. For Nancy here with her expressive voice. For being alive, for life itself. Whew. For a sister-in-law who survived a car crash this week with cuts and bruises thanks to the airbags. For wonderful, caring friends and family. For a niece, nephew, and grandniece from Oslo who are in Seattle and will come to visit in a few weeks. For a spouse who loves her. For Steve who's doing better. For work that's going well. For a life that's great. For our being together. For a loving partner. And for the miracle of being able to be here, for the seat belts and all the other things, the walls of our houses that don't fall down and keep us alive. Truly we give thanks. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It's good to give thanks to God. And we transition to the Ma'ariv, the evening service, with the Chatzi Kaddish, which is a prayer of praise that also serves as a divider between parts of our service. It's interesting that the prayer that our rabbis chose to divide up the parts of the service is one that says, you know what? There's no words, there's nothing we could do that really could contain the marvel of the divine. So we just say this long prayer, which is also a version of which is the prayer we say about in remembering people who've died. It's really one long wow. That's what this prayer is. Yitkadal v'yitkadash merabah v'almati v'rachirute v'amelich malechute b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmeira b'mevorach le'olam yomei almaya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'elam im kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imeru. Amen. See if we can put in the words to the as we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. There it is. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our visions clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our visions clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed. Going to connect with the eternal and boundless and endless love that's in the world. Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים משפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגד יומם ולילה יומם ולילה.
Your love will never depart from us as long as worlds endure. Blessed are you, beloved one, who loves your people, Israel. We unite our hearts and our voices with the oneness that connects us and all living beings in all this world. Shema Yisrael, page 65. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Blessed be the name and glory of God's realm forever. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha. Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha v'derech uveshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu totafot bein inecha uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. We continue with Micha Mocha, singing the song that our ancestors sang at the shores of the Red Sea when they had been brought forth from constriction to liberation, from the narrow places to the wide open spaces.
Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai
Ba'elim Adonai
Micha Mocha
Ikamocha
Nedar B'Kodesh
Nedar B'Kodesh
Nora
Nora
Tehilot
Tehilot Oseh Felet
Malchutecha
Malechutecha
Ra'u Vanecha
Ra'uvanecha
Bokei
Bokei Hayam
Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam
Ifnei Moshe u'Miriam
Zeli
Eli
Anu ve'amru
Anu ve'amru
Adonai Imlo
Adonai Imlo
Le'olam va'ed
Le'olam va'ed
Baruch Ata Adonai
Ata Adonai
God
God
Yisrael.
Israel. The prayer that appears only in the evening service, but also is said by some people before bedtime, before saying the bedtime Shema, is the prayer that asks for God's protection. Hashkivenu. And we pray that we should feel ourselves surrounded by a presence, a shelter of peace. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
Ufros aleinu sukat סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו.
We take some time in silence to go inside and just allow ourselves to connect with whatever's there and to let it be, to let everything be. Shabbat is the time for not making, not working, not trying to change ourselves or anybody else or the whole wide world, just allowing ourselves to dwell in this moment. So we take a few minutes of silence to be right here, right now. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of our mouths and the silences that we allow to be in our hearts be acceptable, bring blessing, our rock and our Redeemer. And from that stillness, we bring prayers for healing. In a few minutes, we will sing Misha Beirach, a prayer for healing, and we hold in our hearts the people whose names I'm going to read, who are people who are members of this community or dear ones of members of this community. And I'm going to ask that if you want any other names to be included in our prayers, you type them into the chat. So we pray for healing for Richard Adler and Marilyn Pankin, Richard Cohen, Jenny Williams Cohen, Mario Eugene Hudson II, Lois Birch, Andrea Finn and Bev Corfin, Uli Sprick, Ellie Emmerich Hart, Shai and Billy Nach, Cloud Baruch, Tesla Queen and Clinton Fisher, Janice Blackman, Beth Ann Budekant, Nancy Davis, Megan Redant, Pilar Barclay, Grady Floyd Adair, Eyal Schechter, Dolly Wax, Esther Myers, Ellen Leary, Julio Quintana, Jacob Gutman, Rana Crozy, Carrie Procco, David Kay, Sharon Miller, Nikki Russler, Ma'ayan Yehudit Bat Abraham V'Sarah, Nancy Kreisman, Sarah Kablak, Tony Rossi, David Lipa Ben Miriam, Benjamin Ben Sandra, Laura, and all of those whose names have been written in the chat.
מי שברא אבותינו מקור החיים לאמותינו הוא יברך את החולים, את החולים, אל נא רפאנה, אל נא רפאנה, אל נא רפאנה, אל נא
We wish a refuah shlema, a full healing that brings wholeness, healing for the spirit and healing for the body, for all those who are experiencing brokenness or ill health of whatever kind. So on this Shabbat, we read the last two portions of the book of Numbers, B'Midbar, called Matot Maseh. And in the beginning of the second of those two portions, Maseh, we have this line, Ela Maseh V'nei Yisrael. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, Asher Yatzu Mitzrayim, the ones who left Egypt, Litzivotam, group by group, Biyad Moshe v'Aharon, under the charge of Moses and Aaron. Vayichtov Moshe, and Moses wrote, Et Motzaehem Lamasaehem. He recorded the starting points of their various journeys as directed by the Eternal. Their journeys by starting points were as follows. And then the text has a series of sentences that begin, and they departed from X and they traveled to Y. And as someone who's edited texts before, I might have taken out all those details because I might have said, what do they add? Isn't this a bit redundant? They left X and they went to Y. They left Y and they went to Z. On and on, 42 times. 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 42 So we have to ask a couple of questions about this text. The first is, why did it take 40 years to get from Egypt to the border of the Promised Land? Now, I played around with this today on Google Maps, and just a wild estimate of where they might have left Egypt and where they might have entered Israel. I found, if you put in pedestrian, that it should take about 84 hours. Now, that doesn't count the crossing the Red Sea through the path part. I know that would add some, but not 40 years. So this is something that has troubled our commentators over the ages, and I just want to share one response to that query, and then we're going to really focus on the second one. So Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, the late chief rabbi of England, said, the circuitous route by which God led the Israelites, because you have to figure that they wiggled around and around and in and out, or they would have just found their way to that promised land. He says this circuitous route was not to prevent their wanting to return, but rather to prevent their being able to return. So God took the Jewish people on such a twisty, turny way that even if they had wanted to return to Egypt, they wouldn't have been able to. Aaron says they like to take their time and take in the sights. Well, there is something to be said for going slow, to be sure. I was just reading this week about Plum Village, which is Thich Nhat Hanh's community in France. And the person who had visited there said everybody walked so slowly. No one was in a rush. So maybe our ancestors were not in a rush. But Rabbi Sacks says leading them miraculously through the Red Sea was like Caesar crossing the Rubicon or Cortez burning his boats before his conquest of the Aztecs. It made retreat impossible. Whatever their doubts and fears, the Israelites had no real choice. They had to continue onward, says Rabbi Sacks, even if in the end it took 40 years and a new generation to reach their destination. So I kind of like this idea that there really is no choice but to take the next step because there's no going back. And that's kind of the way it is in our lives, not just in this biblical journey. But I have a second question, which I think a little more complicated to answer, which is what I asked originally. Why do we need to enumerate and name each place that the Israelites encountered on their journey? We could have said they left Egypt, they stopped by Mount Sinai, they had a few adventures on their way, and eventually after 40 years they got to the Promised Land. So Rashi, the great medieval commentator, says there's another explanation in the Talmud. It says you can answer the question of why these stages are recorded here by a parable. What can this be compared to? To the case of a king whose child was ill and whom the king took to a distant place to cure him. When they returned home, the father began to enumerate all the stages of the journey, saying, here we slept, here we caught cold, here you had a headache, here you felt a little bit better, there we got a snack. And this is such a dear interpretation. We have this account of all the stages and stopping places on the journey as a kind of life review of the Israelites and Moses and God. Hey, guys, this is what we've been through. Remember when? And that is certainly a beautiful explanation, but I think there might be a deeper meaning to remembering all these stops and starts and why there are so many. And why did we need to stop 42 times? Why couldn't we make just a few stops and stay for years on end, get a little comfortable, get used to our circumstances? Why all this moving around? Why so peripatetic? So I want to cite a response from my favorite Hasidic sage. His name was the Slonomer Rebbe. He was a kind of contemporary Hasidic rabbi. He died in the year 2000. He was born in Poland and went to the land of Israel before it was a state. And he was very, very wise. But actually, before I mention the Slonomer, I want to tell you that he quotes the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidism, who says what is described about the collective of the Jewish people in the Torah actually applies to each and every person. So there's something to learn about our individual human existence from these journeys in their fits and starts. First of all, I have to just say I love that idea, that whatever the Torah is talking about, it's actually talking to each one of us. That it might seem like it's about Moses, or it might seem like it's about the Jewish people way back then, but no, actually, there's something here for us. So the Slonim Rabbi says each of us has our own unique role in the world. Each person exists in order to lift up fallen sparks of the divine. Our mission is to complete particular acts of tikkun, or repair. In each moment, in every place we go, there's a specific tikkun, or repair, that only we can complete. So why 42 stages of the journey of the Israelites? Because each of our lives is filled with all kinds of twists and turns, all kinds of experiences, departures, sojourns, starts, arrivals, stops. We're given them, according to the Slonim Rebbe, so that we can grow, bloom, and realize our purpose. Now, you might hear this and think, yeah, sure, it's easy to say that the pleasant experiences of life are there to elevate our souls. But what about the rotten ones? What could possibly be the redeeming value of failure, disillusion, abandonment, pain? The Slonim Rebbe says the stages of our journeys are not at all easy, and it is precisely through our struggles that we shed the shards of ego, delusion, and unconsciousness, and we lift up the holy spark that is rooted in our soul, the one that has been blocked till now. This is how our souls are refined. So what does this teaching offer us when we are not at the end of our journey, but right in the midst? First, we're called to be determined that our tough experiences won't be for naught. We need to decide that there's something to learn, something we're called to let go of, that we're being invited to grow. And second, we're offered the hope that we will stay alert to every opportunity to repair what is broken. We never know when we have found precisely the thing for which we were created. The Aleinu prayer could be part of the Aleinu prayer could be translated as, it's up to us, Aleinu. It's on us. And it contains this phrase, Litaken olam b'malchut Shaddai, to repair the world in the realm of God. Or as Rabbi Arthur Waskow renders it, healing the world through the majesty of nurture. May we each be awake to the hidden blessings at every stage of our journeys. May we allow ourselves to be changed and refined through our challenges and struggles. And may we repair this broken world day by day through the big and small acts of nurture we take on. Letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai, letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai, letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai, letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai. Healing the world through the majesty of nurture. Healing the world through the majesty of nurture. Litaken olam b'malchut Shaddai, לתקן העולם במלכות שדי, לתקן העולם במלכות שדי, לתקן העולם במלכות שדי. כן יהי רצון, so may it be. I'm happy to call upon Rebecca and Sherry to lead us in reading the prayer for the end of hiding.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Rabbi. As LGBTQ Jews, we are aware of the loss of integrity we suffer due to pressures of the larger society. We often feel forced into a dishonest presentation of ourselves to ourselves and others. The LGBTQ individuals who feel they must pretend to be something that they are not. The Jews who feel they must be alienated from their tradition and community to win larger acceptance. Both are victims of a theft of identity and integrity committed by the sexual, gender identifying, or religious majority. Creator of the universe, we ask that our hiding draw to an end, that we no longer feel we have to pretend falsely, to renounce our fullest creative expression as Jews and as lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, and queer people be among the blessings you bestow upon us. Amen.
Amen. We turn now to Mourner's Kaddish on page 131. Invite you, if there's somebody you're remembering at this time because they died recently or their anniversary of their death, their Yortzeit is observed at this time, to please drop their names in the chat. And I want to invite us also to be remembering the over 80 people who passed away, whom have been found in the Surfside ruin in Miami. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam le'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'tadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace send comfort to all who mourn, and we say v'nomar amen. Now I invite Marcy to represent the board in sharing announcements about what's going on at CBH. Marcy, you got to unmute. Marcy, where are you? Now I don't even see her.
Yeah, she may have fallen
I
off.
think she fell off.
Yeah.
Well, that's maybe we could sing our closing song, and then maybe by then Marcy will have reappeared. But if not, we will be able to make the announcements on her behalf. How does that sound, Will?
Sounds good to me.
So I chose this closing song, Lechi Lach, by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory, because it's a song about blessing for journeys.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim. To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lesimchat chayim. Lesimchat chayim. Lesimchat chayim.
Thank you, Will. Now we've got Marcy.
Sorry about that. So
We are nothing if not flexible, Marcy.
right? Shabbat Shalom. So we're happy to host so many friends from around the country for our virtual services. All are invited to our offerings in the coming week. Mindful Moments continues every weekday at 8:45 a.m. and 15-minute evening minion continues Saturday through Thursday at 8 p.m. All are welcome to join in. Next weekend services, join us either online or, ready, drumroll, outdoors, in person on Friday, July 16th at 6:45 p.m. for Shabbat services. We're going to take this momentum step of gathering in person, outdoors at CBH for a service with Rabbi Dale, Will Robertson, and of course the CBH band. We will, I can't tell the word. rededicate our building with a new mezuzah. Yeah, rededicate our building with a new mezuzah, and we will also take time to acknowledge the losses of the past year and a half in observance with Tisha B'Av, a traditional day of mourning for catastrophes in Jewish history, including the destruction of the temples. We ask that all who join us please sign the CBH Brit Priyut, which can be found on our website. If you have not already, please take a moment, respond to the CBH Envisioning Survey. It went out on Thursday in Bet Mail and as a separate email. Your voice, it really does matter. Please, please, please fill that survey out. As a reminder, please support the newest album, Red Thread, from the CBH Chorus Band and Strings. You can purchase it on Bandcamp or a CD from the CBH website, and it's now streaming on Spotify. As always, for a full view of all of our offerings, visit the CBH calendar on our website. All Zoom links to our programs can be found on the streaming services section of our website. Bookmark this page and you'll always know where to find all the programs at CBH. Back to you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Marcy, for persisting. So, questions about next Friday night. There is not a limit to the number of people, and all are welcome. If someone is not vaccinated, we ask that since it might be crowded, they wear a mask, but other people can wear a mask but are not required to. We will be outside only. And we will be affixing a new mezuzah to a place that hasn't had one before. And I can only describe it vaguely since I haven't yet seen the building, but I will next week. I believe it is the rear door of the building that is next to the patio. Have I got that right? And if it rains, which we hope it won't, we will be on Zoom because we won't be able to make that shift quite so quickly. But we're going to have another in-person service in August. And at that one, I believe we're going to be inside. Yes, we will call it, that I'm going to say by noon so that everybody knows. Is that okay? Just made that up. Okay. I want to thank Haley Monet, who is amazing and who is our queen of Zoom. Thank you, Haley, for keeping us together and grounding us in every way. Woohoo. And I just want to close with a blessing. God, who helps us find our way, who takes us sometimes on the longer, shorter way, sometimes on the shorter, longer way, who takes us through wildernesses that have frightening dangers and to spectacular oases of love and beauty. Be with us in all of the places that we encounter and allow us to uncover that holy spark at the root of our souls and to do the work of repairing this world. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. You can unmute and say Shabbat Shalom. So somebody said the weather forecast is horrible next week, but we can control.
Shabbat
Shalom, everybody.
Oh, we got that going.
Love the sound.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
All the birthday people.
Thank you all.
See all of you.
Have a good, safe week.
Hope to see you in person next week, if not soon.
Hey, y'all can get a tent and build the tent up, then we won't get wet.
Yeah.
Full service, Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you. And Yasher Koach, such a pleasure to meet with you.
We look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, we look forward to meeting you.
Oh, I love that, Alan. Let our prayers be our umbrella.
Rabbi,
How
I have a
long is this Shabbat Shalom? You shelter feet, right?
Feel like we're in Star Wars.
We didn't already.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey, Susan.
Hey.